Today, let's look at how emotional incest forces a child to be an emotional crutch. So emotional incest is also known as covert incest for a reason. It's very hidden. Most people, including the child, have no idea what's actually occurring. That's quite different, right, from a kid who's being beaten once a week or being sexually abused once a month. These things are more easy to point out, but with emotional incest, not so easy. And that's because the parent who's taking over the child may appear very loving to others on the outside. They're turning to their child for some care and intimacy instead of turning to their spouse or another adult. So it may look on the outside like a parent really loves this child, but really they're just being emotionally clingy with the child. The loving parent wants to know everything the child is doing when what really is going on, the parent is trying to control the child. Well, look how much that parent shares with their child when actually what they're doing is burdening the child with their own adult problems. Oh, look how sweet that is, that mother taking her preteen son out shopping with her, when in reality she's using her preteen son for her emotional crutch. And a parent who appears to be reliant on a child, oh, isn't that a special relationship? Look how much she needs him, is actually thwarting the son or daughter's development, not providing any sense of healthy boundaries, based on the parent distracting from their own unhappiness and using the child to fill their void inside of them. So let's just take one of these examples right now and unthread it a little bit to see how damaging it is. So picture a son, in this case, growing up, and it's just a given that he's supposed to be on the receiving end of being his mother's confidant. The mother confides in him, talks about all her adult problems, maybe even sometimes brings up the problem she's having in bed with her husband. She brings up the sex life. The son is now hearing about his primary male role model in his life, his own father, hearing about the sexual performance of his father from his mother, who, by the way, is slanting everything to make it look like she's some sort of victim within her own marriage. So now talk about confusing for this son. Well, I guess I should listen to my mom. She's confiding in me. I am her confidant, by the way. But then this isn't right. Well, I shouldn't be hearing these things about my father. I love my dad. But I guess it's true, or maybe it's not true. But perhaps even more importantly, this son's life isn't his own. He's having to turn himself inside and out to solve all this chaos in the family. And he doesn't even know he's doing it. Let's say he's 10 or 12 or 14. How's a kid going to figure this stuff out? He wouldn't even know because he thinks it's normal that he should be naturally included in these toxic dynamics of his family, hearing all these adult problems and so on, taking responsibility for his toxic parents. He's thinking now this is normal because how else would he know? Or of course, a daughter hearing all this stuff from her father, same thing. There's no way to know what's normal, so now the child is growing up thinking this is what a relationship must be all about. This must be what love is. When I go out and I'm 18 or 20 or 25, now when I find love, I'm going to repeat all these dynamics because after all, this must be what love is, not realizing how unhealthy and toxic all this is. So they go out and oftentimes, most of the time, they do repeat it because they don't know anything different. Now they're in an enmeshed relationship with a boyfriend or girlfriend. They're having unhealthy boundaries within some sort of family dynamic as an adult. And on it goes. So we see the generational cycle being set up here. And let's not forget the part about a parent vicarious living through their son or daughter's success. Again, talk about confusion. The adult child now perhaps pursuing a career, thinking like he needs to find a job or career that somehow pleases his parents, when his parents should have absolutely nothing to do with his choices. But now this adult son or daughter may think like, there's an issue here. I need to talk to my good friend about it. Maybe I'll even tell a family member or somebody in my extended family. I'll share what my childhood was really like. Well, now this is oftentimes when gaslighting comes in because the person hearing this is not believing it. What are you talking about? Everybody loves your parents. Your mother dotes on you all the time. How can that be bad? So now the son or daughter, now an adult, doubts themselves. Nobody's supporting the truth. And now the adult son or daughter is beginning to realize, maybe I'm just all confused here. But either which way, it's certainly not safe for me to share my reality. Nobody wants to believe it. Everybody's telling me I'm crazy. So we see how this then begins to grow in different ways in adulthood. So with all the many emotions we have and that can be impacted, let's just look at anger for a second. If the parent somehow represses, shoves down the son or daughter's anger, tells them that, no, you're not really feeling that, no, you're not angry at all, when the kid is really angry, or dismisses it, ignores it, tries to shove it under the carpet, then not only now do we have the child who's a victim of emotional incest and all the developmental issues that are going to have to be looked at and processed, but now just in relation to anger, now we have a deeper wound, a deeper injury to sort through. This healthy anger response that of course is going to come up with kids as they grow up. It's very normal and natural. Instead of there ever being a healthy, supportive way for the child to express this feeling and work through it, the child likely will begin to dismantle it, decimate it somehow. It's not supposed to be here. This can mostly happen in an unconscious way. I want to be the good son or daughter. That's my training, right? My parents don't seem to like anger. I better get rid of it. I better cut it off. Dissociate from it. And depending on the age of the child when this is happening, if it's a younger child, they don't want to do battle with the very person who is providing them a roof over their head, who brings food to the table, who gives them their spending money. So even if they're tempted to share the anger, to try to bring it up again, it becomes way too scary to go head to head with these people, the parents who have all the power. There's huge negative ramifications to being a victim of emotional incest, and quite often this ties into the fact that it's all hidden and done under the guise of love. So pay attention to any feelings that have come up for you as you watch this video. Please leave some comments below if you'd like to throw in a personal story. Please subscribe to my mental health YouTube channel if you like these kind of videos. And until next week, this is Brad Shore signing off from Ask a Shrink.